Good morning, everyone. We're live. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Hope you guys are all doing awesome today. Right on. Wow, you guys beat me. Right on. Mike's here. Mike says, well, good morning, all. Robert, hello, Mike. Robert says, looks like we're the first two here. Yes, you are. You beat me. That's awesome. That's because, well, I had to get this very important item here for the live. Right on. Make sure I got everything set right there. There we go. Right on. Good morning. You guys hear me okay? I'm using this this wireless again. Been experimenting with that a little bit more. Hopefully everything sounds all right. Awesome. Dallas here. Dallas says, yeah. Sam's here. Good morning, Sam. Liam is here. Liam says, sup. Sup, Liam. Robert says, one way we can tell when the holidays are starting to get in full stream is the scammers are really coming out of the woodwork. I haven't noticed an increase. It's still just as annoying as it always has been. But I'm sure that'll probably change. Now, Robert says, yes, we can hear just fine. Right on. Good to know. Everything looks good on my end. So we're just going to roll with it. Cheers, everyone. And there's Harry Dude. Harry Dude says, what's up? Hey, everyone. Harry Dude, good morning. Yes, good morning. Early morning for you, but morning nonetheless. Sam says 8 Celsius here in the UK. I don't know what we're at Celsius-wise. I think we're around 10 Celsius. Sorry, I'm looking at the thermometer over there. We're somewhere around that 10, so pretty close. Yeah, it's fixing to be a pretty nice day here. So that's, what is that? That's about 50 or so Fahrenheit. Yeah, should be a pretty good day, which is pretty awesome because I gotta move this a little bit. Because I'm planning to be doing a little work outside, so I'll take advantage of the nice weather. Robert says 43 here in Oklahoma. Right on. Yeah, we got you beat a little bit this morning, Robert. It was, I don't know, in the 30s when I got up, but it's warming up quickly. That's awesome. So what's everybody up to this fine Wednesday? We'll get to well, you may have seen it in the thumbnail. What I got on the workbench here. But that's my plan for today. We'll get to that shortly. Sempak and Rick is here. Rick says, good morning, Jeff and everyone. Good morning, Rick. How are you this fine Wednesday? Liam's got a question. Liam says, what do you think is the best budget hardwood to work with? That is a great question. And I feel like it could change depending on where you are, really. I think my answer is going to be, it depends, really. If you're looking for the best budget hardwood, a lot of times, depending on the areas that you're in, you're going to have different woods available. So for me, the best budget hardwood around here, and that's a tough question, actually, the more I think about this. I think it's going to be the one that you can get, the one that's most readily available, I think, is what I'm trying to say. You know, for some, in some areas, you know, it could be, you know, things like oak, which is, you know, fairly inexpensive in a lot of areas that I've seen, but you might not have oak available in your area. You know, some areas you may find more maple. It's really kind of tough, actually. I thought that would be kind of an easy question to answer and just throw out a species, but it depends. I guess I would look in your area and see what is the most available. What can you get readily? A lot of times if you can find a local, kind of a local wood dealer, or even better, a local sawmill, you know, I'm sure you can get much better deals that way than if you go to like the big box stores, or, you know, some of the specialty woodworking stores. Yeah, that's a great question, and one I really hadn't put a whole lot of thought in. I would just say look around your area and see what you can find the most of. And you know, that a lot of times if there's a lot of it, right, supply and demand kind of thing, if there's a lot of one certain species in your area, pretty good chance that you're going to find some good deals on that. But other than that, I would look for, like I said, local dealers, you know, the smaller mom and pop shop kind of things, and you'll probably find some pretty good deals there. I know that's not a very definitive answer, but yeah, I think it is. I think it really is going to depend on the area you're in. You know, if all you have around is, you know, kind of the big box store kind of thing, you know, the home improvement stores, you know, a lot of times you can find oak there. You can find maple most of the time. And in my area, it's not, from the big box stores anyway, it's not horribly expensive, but it's not the cheapest I've seen either. So, you know, I guess I can't give a one species fits all kind of answer for that question. What a great question. If I had to, I'm gonna try to go out on a limb here with that one real quick before we move on. If I had to nail down a specific species of wood for budgetary concerns, although it's not my favorite wood to work with, probably like a red oak. That's just a high level. If I had to guess one thing, it's going to change depending on where you're at. Rick says, I'm still in bed, so no idea what it's like outside. Harry Dude says, attempting to resurrect obsolete pots in my old PV Bandit 65. Right on. The old Bandit. I don't think I've ever used a 65. Didn't they make like a 10 or a 15 watt Bandit as well? Or is that one of the newer versions? Because I'm pretty sure I've played through one of those little guys, like little lunchbox size kind of things. Sam says, if you want to get rid of tree stumps, replace the ride-on mower blades with a large circular saw blade. That would be... that sounds terrifying. Rick says, I'm repairing a chip in a painted Telecaster and following StuMac's video. I can't get the wood to accept the die. Any suggestions? So you've got a painted body that's some certain color, and you're trying to repair the chip. I almost feel like you're going to have to fill it with paint first. Let me think about that. I don't think you'd be able to dye it if it's got paint. Yeah, unless all of the finish is removed and you're down to bare wood, I don't think you can dye it. Because a lot of times they have, you know, they've sealed it with some sort of a, I don't know, vinyl sealer or something, and then they've sprayed on a ton of coats of paint. I almost feel like you're going to have to fill it with some sort of a paint, maybe an acrylic type paint, and then drop fill over top of that. Maybe you could tint the... It's going to depend on how you're fixing this. If you're drop filling with CA glue, maybe you could tint the CA glue before you drop fill the chip. I don't think just trying to apply dye to the chip is going to work. I think you're going to need to color whatever you're filling the chip with, if that makes sense. Ideally, it'd be a black guitar and you just fill it with black CA glue. But that's probably not the case. Why are my lights flickering? I hope you guys can't see that. Why is that? That's weird. Huh. Anyway. Maybe it's just my eyes. Yeah, so Rick, I would double check and see if you can tint the whatever you're filling it with. If you're filling it, drop filling with lacquer, maybe tint the lacquer. Or maybe put a little drop of paint in there first, then fill over top. I don't know, that's about all I got at the moment. Mike says, unfortunately, it's all expensive. Lumber store variety. Oh, feet and lumber store variety will make it work. Yeah, it is. It's all expensive now. You know, even the quote unquote budget stuff. But, you know, that's why I like trying to work with local places. I've mentioned before, I had a local place here by me, but they recently closed up shop, you know, sold the place, closed up shop, and I'm really bummed out about that. Because not only did I enjoy going out there and getting stuff from them, but they're just cool people, and but that I would consider friends of mine, and now they're not available. But and that's another reason that I'm getting into my project for this afternoon. And again, we'll get to that as soon as I catch up here on comments. Robert says, about the only hardwoods that we have readily available in the big box store in Oklahoma are oak, poplar, and maple is the least expensive. The least expensive is poplar, but it's kind of a borderline hardwood. Yeah, you know, poplar, I don't mind poplar for quite a few projects, honestly. It's not horrible, but yeah, it's on the softer side. Yeah, poplar is a good option too, depending on what you might want to be doing with it. Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten about poplar. Liam says, thank you, Jeff. I do use oak, and I feel like it's a good wood, and I'm going to start going to some hardwood shops to see the deals. I've only bought hardwood from Menards. Yeah, and from what, I don't think I've ever been to a Menards, but from my understanding, it's kind of like, you know, the others, the Home Depot, Lowe's, that sort of thing. Yeah, and, you know, I've bought quite a bit from them in the past. You know, I used to, you know, for a little while when I was kind of just sort of getting started, you know, I didn't have a lot of connections or anything with other materials, so that's mainly where I got my stuff from. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. But I know if you look, you can probably find a little bit better deals. But yeah, you know, you use what's available, where you can get it, and when you can get it, and what works for your projects. Nothing wrong with that at all. Mike says, drop fill with CA. And he says he can't see the light thing. Good. It seems to have stopped now. I don't know, that was kind of strange. Let's see. Senpakin says, it looks to be bare. It is black, but I have no black CA glue. They say to color acid tone, which I've tried doing the CA drop fill. I'm thinking. Another idea, I don't think it's going to work, and I don't know if I'd even recommend it. Can you get in there with a Sharpie or a little paint pen? Maybe you could go to the store and get a little paint pen, a little black, and just boop. You know what I mean? Just boop. Just fill it with that way, and then CA over the top. I don't think Sharpie. Don't do the Sharpie. I don't think, because sometimes that Sharpie has that little bit of a purple color. But you might be able to get in there with a paint pen, or just get some black CA glue. I have some. It's made by Starbond. It works great. And on a black guitar, it's totally what I would do. Robert says, you get the email I sent with a couple of weeks ago with the links? Yes, I did, and I've been looking at those. Robert, thank you for sending me those links. yeah, I think some of those are going to be helpful. Robert says, I've also had some luck buying guitar tops from eBay. I have bought some. There's just a couple of sellers on eBay that I will order from. Yeah, I've actually ordered a few from there. Let's see. I've got a mahogany set that I ordered off of eBay. I've ordered some Padauk back and side sets off eBay. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few sellers on there that I feel are reputable and legit. So yeah, but I want to check out, maybe order a few from some of those links that you sent, so that some of them look like they have some cool stuff. Mike says, Glue Boost. I've heard good stuff about Glue Boost. I personally have never tried it. Hey, let me just grab this. It's right here. This is what I use. Black. This is the black Starbond. And it works well for that sort of stuff. Senpacket says, thanks, Mike Johnson. Mike says, CA with color tints. Yeah, you know, I've never tried that. I've got some dye that I think you could mix in with clear CA. I haven't experimented with that though, trying to tint the CA, but I don't see why you couldn't do that at all. I think the good part, Rick, is the fact that it's black, right? I didn't figure that it would be black, because I think that just makes it a lot easier to fill. I mean, you can get colored, you know, colored glue, whatever. So maybe that's the ticket. I've got a black guitar that's got some chips in it. I got to experiment with trying to fill it with some of this black CA. Although I haven't been concerned, because to me, I like the chips. The black guitar that I have that has all the chips is one that I bought brand new years ago. And every single chip and nick in there is something that I've put in. that guitar is earned. It's played, it used to be one of my main live guitars, and it's played hundreds of shows. It's been, you know, all around the Midwest and Southwest United States, and I'm kind of personally proud of those nicks and dings. But maybe I can find a small one and just test it out, you know, just trying to fill it. Let's see. Harry Dude says Loctite also has black CA if you can't get Starbond locally. Yeah, you know, there's others. This isn't the only brand. That's just the brand that I use. You know, there's other ones available, and yeah, as long as it's black, I think it would work fine. It doesn't have to be Starbond, just because that's the one I like. Sam says, like the teardrop caravans, you could make a guitar-shaped caravan on wheels with built-in kitchen TV and solar panels. That would be kind of cool. A guitar-shaped caravan, camper, going down the road. That'd be kind of neat. Liam's got another question. Liam says, what would you recommend for the safest budget table saw? I think, I don't know how I want to say it. I think trying to, I don't feel like those two words, safest and budget, kind of work together. Hopefully this makes sense. If you're looking for budget, you know, you're not going to get all the fancy safety features. In fact, I don't have, you know, my saw doesn't have any fancy safety features either. It's probably, you know, it's just a normal, mine's a very budget model, no bells and whistles whatsoever. but it cuts. You know, I think using a saw like mine or other budget saws, the safety is up here, right? It's you've got to keep safety in mind all the time when you're running a machine like that, because it doesn't have the safety features like, say, a saw stop. And a saw stop, I would think. Now, I don't own a saw stop. I have used a saw stop before, but I don't own one. I would like to be quite honest. I think if you're looking for safest, that would be the route that I would go. But I don't feel saw stop fits that budget category. They're not a budget saw. They're a great saw from what I've seen. But I think if you're looking for budget, I don't think you're going to get one that's any safer than any others. Now, I could be wrong, and if you guys are aware of anything that ticks both of those boxes, definitely let me know. I do know that SawStop offers more of a job site type of saw now that is very similar to, you know, the budget type models, mainly because it's smaller. It's still much more expensive than, you know, something you can pick up at the hardware store, but that's kind of what I would like to get. To replace, when I have to replace mine, I think I would look probably at a SawStop, mainly because, not because I think they're a great value, because they are expensive, but just to have that extra bit of safety built into the machine. But still, ultimately, I believe that the safety, like I said, comes down to, you know, the way you work. You know, it's in your head. You have to work safe. Always keep, you know, safety at the front of mind when you're working with anything like that. Even with a saw stop, you can't, just because you know that if your hand touches the blade, it's going to retract, doesn't mean you can get careless, right? And I'm not saying anybody is, you know, deliberately being careless, but, you know, even with something like that, it's still a blade. I still don't want, you know, a mistake on my part to cause my hand to touch the blade. You know, in the back of my mind, it's like, well, what if the thing doesn't trip? What if, you know, who knows? So no matter the saw you have, you got to work safe. You got to keep that in your mind. And I think that, well, I know for a fact, I mean, you can still do a lot of stuff with a budget saw that doesn't have the safety features if you work safe. And, you know, just always keep in mind, be aware of where that blade is, all that kind of stuff. And, you know, stuff like, you know, you don't wear gloves while you're working with the saw. Just ear protection, eye protection, you know, just your basic safety precautions. But if you really want a safe one, I would look at a SawStop. You know, like I said, I can't vouch for them because I don't own one, but that's about what I have. Hopefully that's maybe a little bit helpful. Mike says, Glue Boost is a CA with tint in jars to match your color. Really? They have like a separate tint that comes with it, or that you can get with it? That's kind of cool. Robert says, Kimmel Hardwoods sometimes has sets on eBay. Not sure the spelling of the company, but the Big Guitars YouTube channel gets a lot from his body and sets from them. I think Kimball, I think is what you're thinking of. Kimball Hardwoods. I could be wrong, but Mike says a handsaw. Yes, you know, that's not a bad option. Depending on what you want to do. Yeah, handsaw is, I mean, they're fairly safe. Dallo says, at least a saw stop. So I don't have one either. I would like one. But yeah, I agree with you. Ken Mack is here. Says, hi there. First time I got to send you a message and enjoy your videos on your new guitar build. Well, thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. I will be getting back to that shortly. I'm about at the end of my finish curing time, and I think by the end of this week, or probably this weekend, I will be on to the level sanding and buffing, and then we'll be able to move on with final assembly. So stay tuned. I got a couple more videos that I'm working on to kind of fill up the time. But I'll be getting back to that real quick. KK's here. KK says, good evening from Greece. Hope you're all healthy. Above all, my friend Jeff, thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing the shows and learning about constructions. Greetings from Europe. Right on, KK. How's everybody in Greece? Hopefully everyone's well. Hopefully you're doing good. Say hello to the family and everyone from us over here in the state of Colorado. Right on, right on. Thanks for tuning in. Mike says, yeah, darn straight. Safety's up there. Power saws are dangerous and need a high attention and respect. Yeah, absolutely. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's got the safety features. That's kind of, in my mind, an added measure. Liam says, what do you think of the DeWalt job site table saw for like $300? Has the blade guard too. I've seen a lot of people using it, and really I think it's probably a fine saw. I personally have not used it, but yeah, I haven't heard any negatives, any major downsides. I think it would be fine. Again, you just have to keep in mind working with a machine like that, right? You just got to work safe, and most any of them are going to work fine as long as you work safe and pay attention to, opportunities for kickback and that sort of thing. My saw costs less than that, honestly, and I've been using it for, I don't know, 20 years or something like that. It's totally not a fancy one whatsoever. But yeah, I think a saw like that can work just fine for you. Robert says, I'm not sure, but I think the saw... Oh, I saw a saw stop in a contractor's model. Yes, they've recently come out with an even smaller one, and I think that one would fit my workspace, I think, decently. And probably what I would get if I turned mine on tomorrow and it quit, it burned up or whatever, that's probably the route that I would go. Henry's here. Henry says, morning. Do you have an organization method for the drawers in the Craftsman toolbox? If so, what is it? I just got a small one and trying to keep my tools from banging into each other. I have slightly. It depends on what we're talking about. Depends on what area of organization you're looking to tackle. So I have in here, I don't know how I'm going to show you this. For stuff like wrenches and things, I've got, just these wrench rack deals, right? Although I have way more wrenches than I have racks for. But I've got two full wrench racks in here. But then of course I got handfuls of other stuff. Mostly this box is hand tools, like mechanic type tools. I have screwdrivers. Again, I also have, these screwdriver racks, but I have way more screwdrivers than fit in there. Not perfectly ideal. So I have screwdrivers, I got standard wrenches, metric wrenches, pliers. I don't have any organization for. But where I do start to have a little bit, I don't know if I can get this out to show you. I probably can't. And it's going to make a mess. I can't get them out of there. Let me see if I can do this here. This is going to be awkward, probably. I can't get it all the way open because I got to move stuff. But if it's kind of hard to see, but I have some 3D printed drawer organizer brackets that I made, and then I've just cut some strips of wood to kind of make little, like a frame. There's no bottom or anything, but it just kind of helps keep things sort of corralled. I have another one here. Mostly it's open, you know, sockets. I use the socket racks, but I do have a couple of these 3D printed things. It's just a 3D printed corner, and then I use wood to connect it, and it kind of helps, but I don't really have any sort of fancy organization. You know, oh, you can't see that drawer. You know, just nothing fancy, I guess. You know, I try to do a little bit, but I don't know if that's helpful at all. But to try to keep things organized. I tried at one point, but yeah. So Henry, I don't know how much help that is, but anyway. And we got a super chat, Sam. Sam, thank you for the super chat. It says for coffee for the legend. Sam, cheers, my friend. Right on. I toast to you. Toast my coffee. Thank you. Thank you. Right on. I appreciate that. Got to keep that coffee stocked up. Sam says, always tuck the thumbs near the blades. Yes, I always do that, and use a push stick. Harry Dude says, a tech friend of mine swears by the glue boost system with the tints. I'll have to look into that, because that sounds kind of cool. If you can tint it, you know, they make tints and stuff for it. I got to check that out. Henry says, check out Hibdon Hardwoods. They're closing next year, unfortunately. Their wood is top-notch, used by Gibson and Collings. Hibdon, huh? I'll have to check it out. Robert says, I had a run-in with a table saw way back in high school. I do still have all my fingers, but I do have a scar on my left thumb from the encounter. Don't recommend losing concentration while using it. Yes. Another thing, you know, one thing that I never do is occasionally, if I'm doing a process, you know, where I don't have the camera running, right? And sometimes I'll have headphones in. If I need to make a cut on the table saw or even the bandsaw, I will take those out. I never want to do any of that stuff with headphones in, because if I've got something playing and I'm trying to concentrate, anything that can take your concentration away for a split second, you know, that's all it takes. So I never wear headphones while I'm cutting, barely even on the drill press, really. But especially the table saw and the bandsaw, I never have any headphones in. I want to be totally focused to make sure that I don't lose focus for a split second, because that's all it takes. Liam says, thank you for the tips, Jeff. I've been very aware and safe when it comes to using tools, especially a power tool. By the way, could maybe give us a sneak peek on something you're working on? Yes, I meant to get to that, but yeah, we've been just having a great conversation. So yes, so what am I working on? I mentioned last week that I needed to do some lumber milling, and sorry. But yeah, I mentioned last week that I needed to do some lumber milling, and I think now would be a good time. So that is what I'm going to do. I've done a couple videos before on that sort of thing, but we got some feedback here in the comments that it'd be nice to see some. So we're going to do it. On the workbench, I'm sorry. I can't get it over here. There we go. I don't know if I can get in the shot here. So on the workbench, I got the chainsaw. Went through it yesterday, made sure everything was in good working order. Everything's adjusted. Chain is sharpened. Here I have my Alaskan mill. When we're done here, I'm going to be setting up the cuts on a large figured cottonwood log. Quite certain it's cottonwood. Yeah, and we're gonna make some cuts with this thing. This is my. Hold on here. This is gonna be awkward. This is my. This is my Husqvarna 372 XP chainsaw. It's got a 42-inch bar on it with a dedicated ripping chain, 48-inch chainsaw mill. But yeah, we're gonna be cranking this thing up and having some fun. I mentioned it's a nice day outside, which is great. You know, not too hot because it's kind of a lot of work milling with a chainsaw mill if you've ever done it. So take advantage of the nice temperatures, get some work done, and then once I get this done, then we'll be back to the acoustic guitar. So yeah, I'm making a video on this. Just kind of it's just fun, kind of a fun process. There's something cool about this. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited. Boy. Let me we'll scoot back over here so I can actually sit. So that's what's on my plate at the moment. I'm going to do some milling. So like I said, once that's done, hopefully today, tomorrow, Friday, I can have this all done. And this weekend we'll be back on the acoustic. Robert says, 7 likes, 12 watching. We can do better. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. Don't be shy. It doesn't cost you anything. No one's going to, well, I'm not going to spam call you about your car's extended warranty. KK says, thanks, Jeff. Wish we could come to Colorado. We saw photos, and it really is a wonderful place. When I'm done with my PhD, we're coming to Milwaukee to my brother's family, and maybe we visit you. Oh, man, that would be great. If you come anywhere near here, let me know. Sam says, don't forget to like. It's free. Yeah, there you go. Sam says, lose focus, lose a body part. Be safe in the workplace. You got that right, man. Robert says, what got me was I was using the table saw. I was reaching back to get a piece I was cutting. I thought I'd reach past the blade. That's what I get for doing my own thinking. Oh, man. I'm glad you didn't have any issue or, you know, any serious injury from that. Mike says, what would you use cottonwood for? Mike, you know, I don't know. But it's highly figured. Actually, hang on. Don't go anywhere. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to step over here, and since I have the microphone, it shouldn't be an issue. So I can be over here to get a piece of wood that I want to show you guys. And then I can come back, but hopefully you didn't lose me. I'm back. This is I don't know if I can get this in the right angle where you can see it. This is a piece of that same wood. Can't. Interesting. I can't get an angle where you can see the figure in it. Maybe? No? There's a weird reflection. Let me shut this off. Maybe this will help. Nope. There you can sort of see some of the figure in there. If I can get it to like shimmer. But anyway, this is the piece of the log that I need to finish cutting up. Turn this back on. Mike says, what would I use it for? And honestly, I'm not really sure. I'll probably use it for all kinds of projects. But yeah, this is a big giant log. I got the log for free. Actually, I have 2 of them. But it's incredible looking. Maybe once I get it cut up and dried, I see it might be dry. It's been sitting around for I don't know how many years. It might be cool to make a guitar body or something. I'm not 100% sure. But I know it looks awesome. I know, and trying to do this in the video doesn't really do it justice because I can't quite get the shimmeriness, technical term, to really show it off. But anyway, I just want to get it cut up. I don't know how much of it's going to be usable because, it's been out in the weather years since before I ever got it, and it's a lot of checking in there. But I'm hoping once we get into it, there'll be some usable material. But yeah, it feels like it would make a good solid body guitar body. It's not super heavy, but I think it would look good. Sam says the mic is cut off. Oh, really? Hopefully. And Brian's here. Brian says, hey, buddy. What's up, man? How's it going? What are you up to this fine Wednesday? Mike says, sound is fine. Oh, good. Thank you. I keep looking at the meter and it's still running, so yeah. Mike says cottonwood is free, I guess. Yes, it was. I didn't know what it was at first. At first, I thought it was a giant log of maple, but I actually sent a chunk of it off to, I forget who it is that does like identifications, U.S. Forestry Service or something like that, and they came back and said it was populus, I believe. So some form of the poplar family. Around here, what we have are cottonwoods, so I believe it's cottonwood of some sort. It may not be cottonwood, but it's some type of populus. So poplar, aspen. I'm quite certain it's not aspen. I've never seen an aspen that's 4 feet across. I forget what all is in there. Anyway, cottonwood. Henry says, any ideas for easy Christmas gift projects? I made some coasters. Coasters are a good one. I've made them before in years past. Christmas ornaments. Cutting boards, charcuterie boards. Those are always a good one. Pretty popular. I haven't decided, what sort of projects like that I want to do this year. Just haven't gotten to it yet. I've been focused on working on the acoustic and getting a few other things done. But yeah, coasters are good. Cutting boards, charcuterie boards, any kind of serving tray kind of thing like that. Christmas ornaments. I already said that. Robert says it looks pretty. Maybe you could use some resin to make it harder for a guitar top. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I don't have any large chunks milled yet. I did make some cuts on this about a year or maybe 2 years ago, just to get to kind of see what it was all about. But I feel like it's harder than pine, and you can use pine, so I don't see why it wouldn't work, to be quite honest. We'll see what we end up with. I may get in there and it may be full of splits and cracks. I don't really know. I know when I got it, it was already weathered heavily, and it sat here for a little while. Definitely is not ideal, but I want to see what's inside this log. Robert says, color-wise, it looks a bit like maple. It does. It's a little bit lighter, I think. A little whiter. I almost think it's kind of white like maybe an aspen, maybe a kind of a aspen with a maple grain, if that makes sense. Kind of what it looks like. This piece is, this is a flat, sort of flat sawn. But you can see like the crazy figure in the grain. And you can see this on the outside of the log. I'll make sure to get that in the video. Dastardly Dave says, sup all. What's going on, Dave? What are you up to this fine Wednesday? Mike says, cottonwood. It's relatively light in weight. Wood is soft and weak in bending and compression, and low in shock resistance. Interesting. All the more reason we should build a guitar with it, right? Because, you know, the interwebs say you can't. They didn't really, probably. Somebody probably did, but... Brian says, same old me. Right now I'm working. Working. That's to say I'm at work. Right on, man. Mike said, oh, that's according to my search. Della says, maybe not good for a top. Yeah, I don't know. I know one way to find out. William says, it looks like maple. It does have a bit of a maple look to it. This grain is a little bit wild. But yeah, color-wise, kind of maple aspen-y. At least that's kind of what I'm getting out of it. Liam says, but I think cottonwood is a good guess because cottonwood trees get big, like the log you said. Yes, that's the main reason that I'm thinking that that's what this is. I wish when I sent the sample in, they could have been more precise, but I understand, right? It's, you know, maybe once you get into that what is it, the genus or the species or whatever, it's hard to break it down from there. So that's just kind of my deduction as to what it likely is based on what grows in this area. But it is giant. When I've got a 42-inch bar on my saw, and I got to a point where it wouldn't go all the way through. I had to actually pull it out of the mill and just freehand the end of it, because it's kind of like the stump end, so it has this weird flare to it, which makes it a little awkward to cut. But yeah, either way, hopefully we'll get, you know, at least a few pieces of usable wood out of it. Again, what I'm going to use it for, I don't know exactly. Probably all kinds of stuff. I just know that it's fun to mill, you know, just to be out there running the saw and seeing what's inside, you know, as you make those cuts and you take the slab off of there and you get to see what's in there for the first time. So that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. I'm going to be out there buzzing away with the chainsaw. Maybe I can get it all done today. I don't know. Let's see here. Robert says, I do seem to remember seeing that cottonwood is a member of the same family as poplar. Yes, they are in that, I forget the scientific names, the populus, right? So populus is the genus. That's like the group that holds everything, and then they have the species. Is that right? I can't remember. I'm trying to dig back in there to like high school. Yeah, so there's several different species of trees in that populus group. Cottonwood, poplar, aspen, more that I can't think of at the moment. And yeah, I think that's how that works. I'm no scientist, and I don't even play a scientist on TV. Mike says, forest tree wood project. That's the one that does the samples. I think that's right. That sounds familiar. Robert says, so if it's in the same family and poplar can be used in guitars, so cottonwood should work as well, I think. We're on the same page. It's kind of what I'm thinking. It feels fine. As long as I can get enough material that I can either get, some one-piece bodies would be cool. I don't know. We'll see what we get inside there. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You can use poplar. So why can't you use cottonwood? I think you can. Henry says, are you going to try to cut the lumber in any particular way? I've always wondered how hard it would be to get quarter sawn blanks. Well, Henry, I am at this moment planning to slab cut most of this. I am setting the log up so that I'm trying to cut it straight with the grain lines, down the log. So basically, measure from the center on either end, adjust your cut so that you're kind of cutting in roughly, the same plane. I'm going to cut these about 2.25 inches thick. It might change, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll slab it about 2 inches down till I get near the center, and then maybe from there I'll go 3 or 4. But what that's going to do, the first cut or two is going to be a lot of flat sawn material, because the grain lines are in that arc, right? So at the top, we're going to be into the flat sawn stuff, and then from there, as we move down, and the grain curves around, we're going to get more. We're going to get into rift sawn, and then as we get toward the center, it's going to be quarter sawn on the outsides. So what I'm thinking is, near the top, that'll give me material. Maybe I'll even cut those thinner, because that would give me more boards, flat sawn boards. But as we get farther down, you're going to have more quarter sawn, and this log is really wide. So what I'm hoping is that when I get down toward the center, the majority of that board is going to be quarter sawn material. I'm hoping I can slice those off. So once you slice the center out, you're going to have basically a quarter sawn billet, I guess as they call it. And then from there, maybe I can resaw some guitar tops. Maybe I wonder if you could even build a acoustic guitar from something like this, if the material is any good. I don't know. But that's what I'm hoping. I'm probably going to get a variety of different cuts. I know I'll get some flat sawn, and as I kind of talk this through right now, I probably will slice the first few cuts thinner, like 1 inch, so that I get kind of boards from it, and then save the good quartered stuff to go thicker with. I don't call myself a lumber miller. Is that a thing? But I've done a few, and I've probably milled up 6, 8, 10 logs. But yeah, I just try to get a variety of different things out of there because I don't really know what I'm using it for. Sam says there's beanies online with built-in LEDs. LEDs up there. That'd be. I've seen ball caps, like the hats that have LEDs in the front. I had one, but didn't really find it too useful. Dallo says, how do you expect for reinforcing the whole area of the soundboard with a thin carbon sheet like a ping pong racket? I'm thinking. Are you? I think something like that would be. I think that would be kind of a cool experiment, right? So maybe what you would do. I'm just brainstorming, just thinking off the top of my head. Maybe if you were gonna do something like that,
maybe you would make the soundboard, half the thickness that it normally is, and then you'd reinforce it. I'll bet you could get a pretty thin soundboard if you did that. That'd be a fun experiment. I'll bet it could get pretty thin. I imagine it would work. I don't know. Somebody maybe has tried it. If not, it could be the first one to try it. Mike says, guys, need to go. Take care. Mike, right on. Well, have an awesome day. Sorry you had to leave us so soon. Right on, Mike. Take care. Hazy Day says, hey, how's it going? It is going good. How are you doing this fine Wednesday? Liam says, just looked up figured cottonwood, and the pictures look exactly like your board. It's definitely cottonwood. I'm pretty sure it is. Right on. Robert says to Mike, have a good one. Henry says, sounds cool. No matter what it's going to be, no matter what, it's going to be very rewarding to build a guitar with wood you milled yourself. Yes. And not just guitars. If you look back over the last year, a couple years, there's been a lot of projects. There's been a lot of projects that I have made out of elm. And every single stitch of that elm that I've used in any project is elm that I milled myself several years ago. I mean, just looking right here, there's my stitching pony up here. That's made out of elm. The frame for that picture right there is made out of elm. The little table thingy. I mean, there's so many things that I've made out of elm. And it's super awesome just to know that, okay, that tree came from my yard several years ago. And now it's become different things. I built a desk for my daughter, saddle stand for my daughter. I've built guitar necks, all kinds of stuff. And it is super cool to be able to know that I milled this log and then made stuff from it. The canoe paddle that I made earlier this year, it's not made out of elm, that's made out of silver maple, but I milled that silver maple. I got the log from a local arborist and milled it up, and yeah, I've got several slabs of that left that need to be turned into some things. But it's super cool. Now, is it a time saver to be able to cut the material and then use it for projects? No, I don't think so, because you still have to wait for it to dry, right? So this is like a 2-year-long process, slicing it up, and then it's got to dry before you can use it. It doesn't save time, but it is super. It saves. I don't know how to word that. It's definitely not quicker than going to the store, buying a piece of wood, coming home, and building your project with it. You gotta kind of think way ahead, but yeah, it's super cool to be able to do that. Sam says, be safe, Mike. Harry Dude says, have to brag to someone. Just got those pots working in that bandit. Happy boy here. Right on. Dude, that's awesome. Got it all fixed up. Were they just old and crackly and you had to replace them or clean them out or what? Give us the details. We want to be happy with you. That's awesome. Robert says, I looked up uses for cottonwood and found it has a lot more uses than I thought. Subflooring for one, furniture molding, plus other uses as well. Yeah, I don't feel, I think it's a species that a lot of people don't think about, right? Including myself for quite a while. But I think it's just wood, right? Maybe it's a little bit softer of the hardwoods, but I think it's got plenty of uses. We'll see. Hopefully, I get some good stuff. Sam says, I wonder how much woodwork terminology difference the UK and US have. I don't know. Really, I'm sure there's some. Robert says, the Harry Dude, way to go. Right on. Liam says, hey guys, think I'm going to go now. But Jeff, I just want to say thanks, and this was a very great experience being here with everyone. Thank you. Right on, Liam, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join in. We do these every week. It's just like you've seen. It's just an open conversation. No matter the topic, and yeah, I'm glad to have you join in. Really quick before everybody starts signing off, for all my U.S. friends, I want to say Happy Thanksgiving. Tomorrow here in the U.S. is Thanksgiving, and a lot of time we'll be spending time with friends and family and that. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and wish you all the best. And it's gonna be cool. Robert says to Liam, have a good one. Harry Dude says, mid-80s model Bandit, pulled the pots off the board, fully disassembled them, one single gang, one dual, cleaned all contacts and wipers, reassembled and lubed up, reinstalled, happy amp. Right on. That's awesome. So you had to desolder them, pull them apart, clean everything out, so you just rebuilt it, basically. That's cool. Right on, Harry Dude. Well done, well done. But back to the Bandit real quick. Maybe I missed it earlier. Didn't they make a small one? A little, like a 10, 15 watt, 12 watt? I don't know. Seems I remember playing through PV Bandit. But what I remember was little. Or is my memory gone? Which is highly possible. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream today, Jeff. Well, thank you, Sam. Wouldn't be a fantastic stream if you all weren't joined in. Dastardly Dave says, happy Thanksgiving. Right on. Robert says, happy Thanksgiving to everyone as well. Liam says, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too, Jeff. Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Della says, have a great and jealous Thanksgiving day, all. Don't be jealous. You can celebrate with us. Harry Dude says the little PV combo amps were called Rage. Oh, yes, you're right, Harry Dude. It wasn't Bandit. What was the... I'm thinking of the Bandit, but yes, it was a Rage 158. So I think that was 15 watts with an 8-inch speaker, I think was what that was. Sounded terrible, but at the time I thought it sounded incredible. Yes, that's exactly it. I stand corrected. The Rage. Yes, that's it. Right on. Well, guys, and with that, I think it is about time to wrap this up. I gotta finish getting this log set up to do some cutting on. We'll fire up this chainsaw, and I'll be breathing in some chainsaw smoke for a while. Don't do that. I didn't say that. Anyway, guys, again, happy Thanksgiving. If you're in the U.S. here, like I said, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. You all have a good one. And everybody else, have an awesome day as well. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to hang out here at Home Built Workshop. So with that, I want to say stay safe, be well. Thanks again, and be on the lookout this weekend. Got another video project coming out, working on those belts I think I talked about last week. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It's fine, it's free. Right on. Sam says, be safe, everyone. Harry Dude says, cheers, folks. Stay well. Catch you all next week. Dallo gives the wave. Robert says, everyone stay safe and healthy. Safe travels for all going somewhere. Right on. Thanks again, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Stay well. We'll see you next time. Later, guys. Thank you so much. I hit the button. It didn't end.